Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by FX's Feud, Capote versus the Swans. Inspired by actual events, the series tells the story of Truman Capote and the women he betrayed. The original housewives. They were society's most elite women. Rich, glamorous socialites who defined a bygone era of high society New York. From creator Ryan Murphy, this drama series features an all-star cast, including Naomi Watts, Demi Moore, and Diane Lane. FX's Feud premieres January 31st on FX Stream on Hulu.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we review all of the Bare Naked Ladies songs from 7 to Y, and I personally wish that they would go out there and, I really wish that the band we could start creating, these big, groups that would get together. I don't know what they're called, but they have groups that get together, and they do it for, comics and stuff like that, but they don't do it for, rock bands.
Like expos?
Expos, but it's not the word I was
thinking.
Like gatherings. What's the word?
I was going to say gathering.
Yeah, there's a big gathering.
Parties.
They do it in San Diego every year. We have one up in Bangor. I can't think.
A conference?
Constitutional amendments.
No, that's not it. Oh, I'm blowing it tonight, guys. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Consider your options when it comes to choosing things here. I think you can control your thoughts enough to pick the correct word.
Well, anyways, tonight we're going to be discussing...
Make a concerted effort.
How long are we going to continue this line of thinking?
Nice.
Well, I am going to get us off this because I don't remember it. So anyways, we're going to get on to the song tonight. Tonight's song is Conventioneers.
Yay.
Oh, that's what it is. Convention.
Oh, it's when you're at a convention and you wear Mickey ears. I'm wearing my convention ears.
I'd be happy if you gave me just a fraction as we danced. I could see in your eyes, you and me as senior citizens in love.
I am not talking about the 2005 American comedy movie that was directed by Morris Stevens and acted by Matthew Mabe. Nope, not that. Nope. I am talking about the 2000 song by Stephen Page on the Maroon album. And it's also on the Ladies' Room Volume 5, which, if you don't know what Ladies' Room Volume 5 is, every year for quite a few years, the Bare Naked Ladies released for their fans that were on their fan club, they released an album and sent it to them to their home with special content. And this was one of the demo of this was on their content for that album for their 5th year. And I will be adding the connection for that onto our page for today. So, just so you understand, the demo is very stripped down. Instead of drums, there's snapping in the background. I missed the piano and the synth that's in the song during the bridge and the last, I guess you would call it kind of the pre-verse. But the song is a lot more relaxed that way. So why don't I hand it over to Aaron as I'm talking about the music and have Aaron kind of talk a little bit more about the music itself.
Let's break it down.
Break down, break down, break down. Aaron's gonna talk about chord structure and time.
Oh, yeah. All right, Conventioneers.
Wiki.
Conventioneers is recorded at approximately 78 beats per minute, seems like it's between 77 and 78, probably a little closer to 78 on average. It's in the key of E major. The verse changes are 4-1, so A major 7 to E major 7. The chorus, or it's like I've never been ashamed of my attraction. The changes are 6-4-5, which gets turned around nice back to the tonic 1. So it'd be C, A, B, E. Getting back into the groove, vamping on E and A, transitioning back into the verse. So the chorus goes from C sharp minor to A, and then C sharp minor to A, then to B, pivoting to E, because B is the fifth off the E. Then it's like E, E7, A7. So you get this nice kind of descending bass line. Wow, it's like I love these descending bass line songs. I don't know why. Yeah, it's a musical, I don't know what I'd call it, effect that really is pleasing to my ear. The bridge plays off the chorus changes, adding an E at the end of each line. So you get 6-4-1. So like C sharp minor, A7, then E, and then the end of the bridge hangs around on E but changes the accidental. So we move from like an E major to an E major 6. The form itself is very simple. Intro has the verse chord, so it's going A, E, A, E. So I'd call that A, like an A section. Verse 1 is your A section, chorus is your B. Verse 2 is an A, chorus is a B. Verse 3 is an A, chorus is a B. Then there's a bridge. A lot of times it might be like verse 1, verse 2, bridge, verse 3. So they got verse 1 chorus, verse 2 chorus, verse 3 chorus, bridge, verse 4, and then chorus. It ends fairly abruptly, appropriately enough, given the subject material and the lyrics of the song. So we've got sort of an A, A, B, A, B, A, wait, A, A, B, A, B, A, B, C, A, B. It's got this lounge feel to it, I want to say, but in a very enjoyable way. Lounge can go bad very easily, but good lounge, this is sort of tongue-in-cheek. It reminds me a lot of, I think I might have referenced this before on the show, I'm not sure. There's an album called Lounge-a-Palooza, which is famous lounge bands covering alternative rock songs or alternative rock bands covering lounge songs.
Is that Richard Cheese?
And I think Richard Cheese, I'm not sure if Richard Cheese was involved in that album. Ben Folds did an amazing cover of She Don't Use Jelly by the Flaming Lips, but in the style of lounge. Steve and Eydie, the lounge icons, covered Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden, and it's beautiful. It's legitimately beautiful. So that album I cannot recommend enough. I love Black Velvet Flag. That's the cover that they do, like punk band covers that they do, like Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies. So I actually do like lounge music unapologetically, if it's good or if it's like comical and humorous and tongue-in-cheek. This is really, really well done. It's lush. It reminds me a lot of the song In Love off of the Fear of Pop album that Ben Folds did. Again, Ben Folds seemed to have a penchant for lounge as well, whether ironically or not. So I don't know if you guys have heard...
He was the person that when Steven left the band, I was hoping that Ben Folds also was longer working with Ben Folds 5, and I was praying that Ben Folds would join into the band because he's that.
I mean, I would love to see him just do like a song with BNL.
He
That'd be really crazy.
When they toured together.
Oh, he did? What did he do? I didn't even know they toured together. Wow, that's how out of the loop I am.
Oh yeah, that's how I came to love Ben Folds. It was Ben Folds, Guster, and
I knew
BNL.
he was friends with Guster because the producer from Guster did one of his albums. I think I want to say it was like the reunion album for Ben Folds.
It was amazing because they did their.
Okay, so I'm sending you guys a link.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
When they did their show up in Bangor, they had it set up so when one band was setting up on stage, one of the ones that wasn't, so like if you had Bare Naked Ladies and then you had Guster setting up, so you had Bare Naked Ladies leaving the stage and Guster playing, Ben Folds was in the back up on the lawn playing an acoustic set with his band right there like 5 feet from you, and they rotated like that between sets. Man. Oh, it was amazing.
I saw Ben Folds live at least once. I think it was only one time at the State Theater in Portland, and that was such a great show. It's very intimate, just him and the piano and the crowd, and it was a very, State Theater is a fairly small place. I was right up front. Really cool show, and he gave me a signed pick, or not a pick. He gave me signed my ticket. Because he was just playing the piano that night. But that was a great show. But anyways, if we can pause the episode for just a minute or two, listen to like the first minute and a half of this song I'm sending you guys. I want to get your opinion because I think this song really reminds me of. I think it was recorded after, so maybe it was like influenced by this song, but I got a real throwback because I was familiar with this song in Love before Conventioneers, and it kind of reminded me of it.
I will always treasure our time together. I don't feel enough of anything to harbor the kind of disdain that you'll maintain. You painted me into what you wanted to see. That's fine.
That is really interesting.
So, yeah, were you expecting William Shatner?
I was not. Well, I read the thing that said featuring William Shatner. So once I saw that, I did. But
yeah, the content lyrically is similar. I wouldn't say it's identical or anywhere near it, but it's definitely adjacent.
William Shatner, if you ever want to come on the show, we would love to have you on the show.
Please, Bill, come on the show.
And also Leonard Nimoy, if you ever want to be on the show, come back from the dead and come and join us on the show.
Too soon, Tracy. What are you going to do next, Stan Lee?
No, that one's too soon. His wife
would try to make it, though.
If anyone could do it, it'd be Stan.
Mm-hmm.
Excelsior.
What are you doing? You show up everywhere else. Why not?
So you were saying with the beat that, when I was interested because you said lounge, and for me, I was thinking this is kind of a Latin, but a slow Latin beat, and I was thinking like a jazzy.
Yeah, it's got some Latin
tone.
Influence. Yeah, but it's definitely. I mean, when I say lounge, you got to understand lounge. So many people, especially even the stuff that I like, a lot of it being kind of tongue in cheek. Lounge has kind of a reputation for being kind of silly or not something to take seriously. It can be really good.
It can be amazing.
Legitimately, we were talking about Steve and Eydie. Go find that cover they did of Black Hole Sun. It's gorgeous, and there's nothing funny about it. It's just pure awesomeness. So
in my shoes, a walk and sleep, and my youth I pray to keep. Heaven send hell away. No one sings like you anymore. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain?
I was not at all throwing shade at this song by calling it lounge. I just feel like it has that kind of. It's very lushly produced, very full wall of sound, and very relaxing and gentle, and kind of little bit of a romance feel to it, and that's all I meant by that.
Well, and it's interesting you said lounge because you think of what this song is about. Conventioneers at a hotel.
It probably had lounge music playing in the hotel or something. You know what I mean? So it probably is meant to kind of mimic that. In fact, what you'd hear at the Holiday Inn Express or whatever.
Exactly. I think it's another case of using the music to tell the story.
It's programmatic. I agree. Yeah.
Totally, 100%, and it's so good. It's this. If I could rate this higher than a 5, I would. I would give this a 6.
Wow.
Very nice.
Or a 10. I mean, this song is my favorite Bare Naked Ladies song.
Wow. It's a darn good song.
All of their songs. This is my favorite.
Wow.
It's so good. I'm not trying to take over the podcast, but this is my favorite song.
Go for it. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I've been looking forward to this for a year. It's been a year. I can't believe it's been a year. It's crazy. The time has flown. This song, the sound puts you. It's so atmospheric. Yeah. You know right where you are. Mm-hmm. You see the title. You hear the music. You're there. You're in the lounge. And then the lyrics just tell the story so perfectly. And I think it's a cautionary tale of an example of you don't
fish off the company pier.
Where you don't beep where you eat, and you don't beep where you work. I'm beeping myself, but you know what those words are. And it's so perfect for every kind of fantasy you've ever had about somebody. Your eyes meet across a crowded room, and you don't talk to them, or you have these loaded conversations, and then it's so much better before it actually happens. And then once it happens, everything falls apart.
It's always better in your imagination.
It's always better in your imagination. My favorite, and I feel like it's such a Steven song. Like, it's such a peek into how he operates. Like, to me, I love this song for so many levels, but my favorite line that stands out, has always stood out, and I laugh hysterically every time I hear it, is
When you slept and I'm dressed and I left, and I guess I'll see you Monday like before.
like, it's like this whole big amazing thing happens, and then he sneaks out and leaves and hopes to God that nothing comes of it and doesn't have to face what's happened. Like, it's so hysterically funny and so real and so perfectly done. It can't get better than that. It's hilarious in its tragedy. Like, I'm picturing him working in an office.
Yeah.
Having that, like, I can see what the woman looks like. I'm picturing this whole thing. They're playing Travel Scrabble, and the whole thing too. Like, we have to, or we'll end up in the bath.
And then we're in the bath.
Now we're in the bath.
And we laugh, and we laugh, and we laugh, and we have to, or we'll end up in the bath. Now we're in the bath.
That actually made me laugh out loud because I was not
It's
reading the lyrics.
hysterical.
And this was the first time I've heard
Yes.
that song. It's like, oh, we'll wind up in the bath, pause. So now we're in the bath. I was like, okay.
Yes,
okay.
it's hilarious.
That's funny.
And this whole thing, and now I'm thinking marriage, and it's this wonderful thing, and oh dear God, please don't let me talk to you. I'll come in late. I'm just going to avoid you. Maybe you'll get transferred. That would be awesome. Thank
So,
you. Like, it's
what is your
hilarious.
What is your read on that, Michelle? I have always wondered, like, there's two different ways in my mind that this song could be read. So here's my two reads on it. It'd be interesting to hear, like, what you guys thought, which one it was. So this is a straightforward song, once again, about two people that work together, that are that have flirted together in the office a number of times. They always enjoy kind of flirting. It's built up this kind of chemistry between each other. He always sees her as better than him, and then she propositions him. They go upstairs. He can't believe it. Here's where it diverges. So as you were saying with those lines, is this because she has turned him down and let him know that she's not interested? Because he says throughout the song, like, I'm thinking marriage, I want long term, I'm seeing us together as two citizens, senior citizens in love. Is this him, like, is this the narrator, I don't know if male or woman, is this the narrator being turned down by the other? Yeah, Steven. Is this Steven being rejected and it's the other person thinks it's a one-night stand? Or is this the narrator, Steven, leaving because he's disappointed in what happened?
In my mind, I have to claim this. Aaron, I would let you talk first, but I can't.
No, please. This is all you, Michelle. Go for it.
I just love this. I definitely think Steve. I'm going to say, okay, the narrator, I'm making air quotes,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
my mind, like, look at the songs, listen to the songs, look at how everything played out. This is part of how he rolls.
Like, we'll just
This
throw
is
a
part
random
of-
name out there and call the narrator of the song, I don't know, like Stephen Page. Just random name.
Let's randomly call him Steven.
I say narrator
This
just because I think
whole-
Steven people watches and he picks up
Yeah, that's
stories
true,
with
too.
people
That's true,
watching.
too.
And he's like, I'm going to write
Yes.
a song about that. I'm going to put myself where I
Sure.
think that person is and write this whole song around it. I think that's where a lot of his songs come from. That's why we have this really, like, disgusting person narrator oftentimes with Stephen Page. But that's my point.
And that's funny because I think it's him working out his stuff, which is fine too. I love him for that.
Projecting.
I think it's the harder to get, the better to have. You know, the whole fantasy and the possibility and the dangling carrot, and who knows how long it's been, their flirtation has been going on for. Suddenly, here's their opportunity. And it's like Winnie the Pooh when you ask him what his favorite thing is, and he it's the moment before he eats the honey, but he doesn't know what to call it, so he just says eating the honey. This is the same thing.
That's great.
Like the moment where they're dancing and they're playing Travel Scrabble, like that's the best part, but he doesn't know what to call it, so now they're in the bath and they're going to have their rendezvous, and it's great. And now reality kicks in and he's like, oh God, what just happened? And so you slept and he dressed and he left. Like that, to me, that's the whole key of the song. It's not the bridge reveal like we're used to with him. That's the part.
It's that final verse.
He got the thing that he wanted and is sort of like, oh, now what? And so he leaves. And he's like, oh, crap, how do I deal with this now in reality? Which is hilarious. Like, it's hilarious to watch it happen. Like, this song is so visual, and it's just tells such a story, and it's a sound story, and it's a verbal story, and it's just so awesome. I really feel like, not that things went bad, but, like, he got what he wanted, and now what? What's left? I'm going to sneak out of here and hope that she forgets about this. Really is what I think.
Okay.
This whole song reminds me of, and I'm going to surprise you guys by not talking about another song or another band.
Specifically, They Might Be Giants.
I promise not to bring up They Might Be Giants. I know I already referenced In Love on the Fear of Pop album by Ben Folds and William Shatner, but this song, especially what Michelle was just talking about, and the lyrics of the song, really remind me of a novel by Neil Stephenson called Zodiac. At one point, the narrator of the book, who is actually like an eco-terrorist, he has an on-again, off-again relationship with this reporter who like writes stories about him. And there was a line in the book, and I can't recall it. It's a shame I can't quote it, but I'll paraphrase it. And it was like, he was looking at her, and she seemed particularly beautiful because they hadn't slept together recently. It's like they hadn't slept together in a while, so she was really looking beautiful. I totally get that. That's like a terrible impulse, but like it's one we understand, I think. And I mean, like you're right, the fantasy, you build it up in your head, and then the aftermath is messy and awkward. So, like,
yes, and that's what this
it's
like.
great.
This is an exercise in
song.
Psychology. You know what I mean? Like this is somebody's weird innards and how they process relationships. Like it's so much better when it's just out of reach, but once you have it, it's sort of like, well,
now what?
What now? Now what? Exactly.
Wait, us as senior citizens of love? Oh, maybe not.
It's the fantasy is wonderful. The reality is like, oh crap.
Yeah.
And like you said, Aaron, way at the beginning of the podcast, at the end, it ends so abruptly. Like, it's hilarious. It'd be great if you transfer out
and
of
then
state.
it's like,
Dun.
and it just stops. You're like, okay, I wipe my hands of this. I'm just going to pretend like it never happened.
It ends like he wishes that it would end. It ends like how he wishes the relationship would end. That's how the song ends.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is I feel like there are so many potential outcomes from here. Like, maybe they just kind of awkwardly give each other looks from across the hall every now and then, and that's it. Maybe they do get married. Maybe they end up making it work. Maybe they end up hating every day of it. Maybe they get a divorce. Like, yeah, probably one of the later ones.
They're gonna wish it never happened. They're gonna ignore each other. It's gonna be awkward.
It's gonna be awkward at work every day.
Somebody is gonna transfer.
So
out
is
of
this
state.
like Han Solo and Princess Leia? And that's, like, did anyone think that was gonna really work out?
No, I don't see it like that.
I would like to have seen it work out. No, I'm just being silly. I'm just talking about the new Star Wars movies.
Yes.
Anyways.
I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah,
that
I
they
wanted
were
them to stay
not
together, but I'm
Like,
a romantic. What can I say?
Well,
I was kind of disappointed that they.
But when your son
weren't.
becomes a mass murderer, that's not going to keep the two people together.
Well, but Luke kind of started
God.
it all.
Okay,
Like, where the hell was his?
I've opened Pandora's box and I'm regretting. Control Z. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize.
Where was his Jedi mastery when he, decided to potentially
This is a
kill
whole
his nephew?
other conversation
Well, see, that's
for a
what I
whole other
love about Luke,
podcast.
though, is that he never does things the right way. He's always a fuck up. Luke is a fuck up every step of the way, all the way through every single one of the movies.
I don't agree with that at all, my friend.
And
you and I are going to come to blows.
And he constantly... But he's constantly trying to do the right thing.
Luke blew up the Death Star. Luke saved Han from Jabba. I would say he messes up a lot. He messes up a lot in Empire Strikes Back.
Luke missed the first shot.
Luke is all about Luke. Luke is such an Aries. Sorry.
That is the first time I've ever heard that sentence. I guess Han's a Capricorn. I'll take that.
No, Han Solo is a Sagittarius, if there ever was one.
Well, anyways.
Anyway.
That's the new podcast. Let's talk about
We're going to have to do an astrological Star Trek breakdown.
Ed and I agree a lot on The Last Jedi and on the other movies. So we'll come back to it again. That's not our plug for the night. What I do love...
What the hell just happened?
We just talked about how this song is one of the things I want to point out, there's a lot of simplicity in this song, but there's also a lot of complexity. So we have Jim is playing two instruments. He's playing an electric double bass. Double bass.
He pulled it right out of the river, started playing it, electrocuted it.
He's playing an electric double bass and a double bass, so he's doubling up with two different sounds.
It's a double bass. It's a quadruple bass.
Bass squared.
We have Kevin playing synth and piano. We have Tyler playing drums, tambourine, cowbell, and the wah-wah shaker.
Needs more cowbell.
We have Ed we have Ed playing the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar, and the wah-wah guitar. And then we have Steve just singing.
There's so many layers. That's what I'm talking about. It's that wall of sound. Late Beatles inspired Phil Spector kind of thing.
And it's weird because it's one of those. It's that wall sound, but it's interesting because they're playing. Usually, you get one or the other. You get them on acoustic, and they mix acoustic and electric depending upon who, but they don't double up. Here, every single one of them is doubling up on an electric, except for Tyler, but he's got the wah-wah shaker. They're doubling up on an electric and an acoustic for every single one of their instruments. So it's really intriguing that they're doing that, but it sounds like a very simple and gentle sound.
It is a simple and gentle sound. It really makes you feel, too, when you're listening to the lyrics and you listen to the music, for me, and this is part of why I love it, and I've loved it for years, I just feel it. It just sort of, you can feel all that hopeful possibility, and it just kind of blooms like a flower throughout the song. And then you slept. And I dressed and I left.
It reminds me of, I can't remember who it was. There was a comedian who was talking about people are always telling you to find out your potential. And he's like, no, don't do that. Why would you ever do that? Just keep it in a box. It's your potential. It could be anything. Don't open it up and be disappointed.
It could be anything. Right. Exactly.
Well, I think what you're saying, Michelle, I think is a really good point. So what makes this song more than anything is Steve's not just singing. Steve, singing this song, is emoting. Acting. He is putting all the emotionality into it. He's not power singing like we have with Break Your Heart.
No.
Mm-hmm.
He is just you can hear the love and the admiration that he has in his voice in this song. And then when there's this downturn, when his heart's broken and things have gone wrong. Well, not heartbroken, but just things have not turned out well the way that he had hoped. Now we get that depressed kind of sound coming, and you hear the embarrassment.
But
he gets a lot more short.
The embarrassment, and he's the one who started it. You know what I mean? He started the whole thing and went there, but then he's also the one that left. So it's well, why are you upset? You did this. Mm-hmm. This is just, to me, this just fits in so well with his whole personal story, just the whole way everything played out. To me, it feels very autobiographical, and maybe it's not, but it's where it comes from. You can feel where it comes from, whether the actual scenario is true, the process, the mental process of, oh, I want this thing that's external. Oh, I've got it. Oh, I don't want it anymore.
Right.
Like that piece is so real. And I think a lot of people can totally relate to that.
And I think that's what I like about Steven's singing. Like, I've heard people criticize Steven's singing. I've heard people criticize his voice and say that.
How dare they?
Rude.
I will
Such rudeness.
put up your dukes, whoever's going to say that.
Like, people have criticized, and I'm like,
Hold me back.
the amount of emotion.
He's got the voice of an angel.
And the
I
amount
love
of emotion.
Steven.
Like,
He's great. He's good.
what you get
Great
out of
voice.
him that you don't get out of a lot of singers is.
He goes there.
does.
He totally goes
he's
there.
A very
He sells it.
unconventional voice, so I guess I sort of understand why some people might not like him. But like, I here's the thing: whether or not you like his voice or the quality of his voice or the timbre or whatever however you want to address it, I think it would be unwise for anyone to dismiss him as not being talented. I think it's clear that he's very talented. I happen to like his voice and what he does with it. If you don't, free country, but like
Right.
he's talented, and if you try and deny that, you're just being obtuse.
And it's just emotional. Like, he's an actor as much as he is a singer.
He is. In a couple of years, we're going to get to Tonight is the Night I Fell Asleep at the Wheel. Like, that's, I mean, talk about and to me, I equate that emotion. Like, it's a totally different song, totally different topic. But again, there's a story and you feel it.
Yeah.
He makes you feel it and you're there and you're in the situation. That's what's so great about this song. Like, you're in you're at the convention, you're dancing and you're, doing the whole thing and you're getting swept away. And then you just made the biggest mistake of your life and you're hoping to God to somehow, like, you're there. It's so good. It's so good.
Well, and
he does that with his voice. To your point, the whole point of me rambling on, it's his voice.
Yeah. Well,
he
like,
sells
he says
it.
before the fireworks explode, like, and the volume increases and his emotionality increases in that moment, and then it boom, and have a nice day. It's just like, boom.
Yes. Looks like rain today.
Yeah, the
Awkward. Awkward. It's like in Austin Powers. It got weird,
Yeah.
didn't it? Like,
Exactly.
it's totally that.
you have that, like, he stops.
It won't get
he
weird.
pauses.
It got weird, didn't it? Like, it's totally that.
Yeah.
And it's just so human, and it's just like we're all in this together, and that's what I love about this
It
song.
reminds me of the Arrested Development episode where Tobias and what was the sister's name?
Oh.
Tobias was married to. I really need to rewatch that show.
Now
I
that you
love
say
that
it,
show.
like, I can't.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, they're having trouble with their marriage, and they're like,
Portia in real life.
Portia
her
de
name is
Rossi. I
Portia.
can't remember the character, and I apologize. But yeah, they're like, oh man, well, some people, they try and have an open marriage, and then that never works. So, but in our case, maybe it would.
Well, and it's that perfect use of pauses. It's that,
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
that show does it, and that's what Steven does, even
Yeah.
in the song. Like, you
Now
were
we're
mentioning
in
it
the bath.
earlier with that, like, and now we're in the bath. Like, there's that.
Yes.
Whoa.
And it's funny because that's the only part in the song where there's a dead,
Yeah.
like, there's total silence. The other verses kind of
It's
roll
the-
into the next one, but this
It's
one
the
there's
classic,
dead silence.
like, comedic smash cut. You will
Yes!
never, ever get me to wear that tie. Cut two, he's wearing the tie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a musical
Yes.
smash cut.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That was
it's
great.
it's genius on every level.
Yeah. So let's talk about how genius it is. Let's get over to the ratings.
I
Okay,
think
so
Michelle should go first.
for ratings, sorry to like commandeer.
No,
the,
I love it
No.
when people are like nerding out. Like, I love to nerd out over music.
I've
so
been
you do
waiting for this forever.
I edit these
so we're
podcasts,
rating
and
it.
I'm like, Aaron's talking a lot. I'm talking a lot. Here's Michelle. And then
this. Yeah, like, please, Michelle,
anytime.
take it and run.
Yes, I definitely. We're rating it by Travel Scrabbles. How many Travel
Tiles?
Scrabbles?
How many tiles?
And I already gave my score. If I could give it higher, if we went higher than a 5, it would get whatever the high scores, literally this is my favorite BNL song of all time, out of all of them. So I give this song a 5.
Nice.
Solid 5.
Very nice.
Aaron, how about you? How many travel scrabbles?
I actually want to pass this off to Tracy because I'm curious.
Oh, okay. I was trying to be. I was going to be all like funny and smart about it for a second there, but yeah, I was going to try to come up with a word in Travel Scrabble that would add up to the points. But I can't pull it off in that amount of time. Damn it! I am giving this song a 4.5.
Wow.
One of the things I love about this song that we haven't talked about yet, this song tells a full story. This is one of the things that when Steven does this, and he does this in certain songs, I love it. It is amazing. I will follow him along through the whole entire story and listen to it, and the music's amazing, Steven's emotionality is amazing, and it tells that full story. I'm in. It's not all the way up to a 5. I can't think of any things I would change about this song. I would listen to the song 1,000,001 times, but yeah, I have to give it a rating somewhere in there, so for me it's a 4.5.
That's interesting. That's the reason I threw to you first, because I wanted to see if I was going to be the jerk or if you were going to be the jerk, Tracy. And Michelle, I am sorry to have to tell you that Tracy is the jerk because I give it a 4.6.
Yay!
Damn it!
So I
totally set him up for that.
I was going back and forth for a while because I was thinking 4.5 and I was looking at my scores. I'm like, it's definitely mid to high 4s or almost perfect. I gave Call and Answer a 4.5, and I love that song. I love the harmonies. They're absolutely beautiful. I might like Conventioneers just a tad more, so I'm going to give it a very enthusiastic 4.6 Travel Scrabble Tiles out of 5. I think it's a wonderful tune.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be coming back to it, putting it in playlists. It deserves to be in the top of the top.
And once you listen to it several times, like once you've like got it in your blood and guts, you're just like it becomes a part of you.
I know it's early to talk about this, Michelle, but we do have another rescore coming up in a year, so maybe this will end up being raising up the charts.
We'll see. Well, right now, after our rescore, this song is number 3.
Yeah. Okay, well there we go. So
we have Alcohol, Brian Wilson, and Conventioneers as our top 3.
What a trio!
Which I think
Break Your Heart,
right there.
Call and Answer, and Alternative Girlfriend. It's right in the right spot.
Those are all super amazing songs, and I think they all deserve to be up there.
Definitely.
Cool.
Yes.
All right. Consensus.
All right. So, by the way, I want to mention right now, I should have mentioned it in the last show. I forgot to mention 3 weeks ago that there was a cover, and I feel horrible because there are not a lot of covers. Yeah. I missed this one. Cornbread Red covered Celebrity. It's actually a really interesting cover, so if you go out there and listen to the cover of Cornbread Red singing Celebrity, it's actually really cool and interesting. So my appearance tonight is going to be really quick and easy. I'm going to patch in the Ladies' Room Volume 5 that we have on the YouTube, which is the demo version of this. But the other thing that I want people to make sure you go out and listen to that's on this Ladies' Room Volume 5 is the Bird Poop Rap. It's one of them doing their live shows again. And they just...
It was a little shocking, I have to say. When I listened to it, I was like, wow. Okay, very good.
It's a weird thing for them to talk about.
Yes.
And more than anything, like the background music for this rap is different than any background music I've ever heard them do or use. It's not similar to anything. Usually they have like this kind of generic kind of sound that's going. This is different than all of them. So go out and listen to it. You also, if you listen to the very end, you get answering machine messages by Ed and Jim. Yeah, so answering machines are way back in the day when they had telephones on the wall. You would connect this answering machine up to it, and then, like, when people called you, it would go to the answering machine, you'd leave a message, sort of like with cell phones, but you actually had to come back and listen to them at the end of the day. And this was... And then there was
when we had, like, dinosaurs and Gypsy tigers roaming around.
This is back when I was in like college, and the big thing when I was in college was you wanted to get like the really funny answering machine message, and celebrities would like give you and sell their answering machine messages, and if you could get them to like do it, that was wonderful. That's what they did for this.
Didn't they have a K-Tel? Wasn't there a K-Tel?
There was.
Record that with different answering machine messages that you could use, or I think it was a cassette actually, and you could just stick
It's
it
funny.
in the machine.
And in the
Like,
college
you know,
I went to,
you
everyone
can't-
always tried to do their Christopher Walken impressions.
Gee, I wonder what you mean by everyone. Is that yeah. So it's funny because I was gonna say we could always use the analogy of voicemail, but not even like because no one leaves voicemail. I don't leave voicemail. I don't want to listen to my voicemail. Please text me.
I don't answer the phone. Text
Yeah,
me.
Exactly. I have too much anxiety to talk to a person. Just
Yes,
text me.
exactly.
I will get back to you.
Aaron, I promise you, I will never call you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
I swear to
means
God,
a lot
I will
to me.
never call you. I might text you.
Yeah, no, texting is
1,000
fine.
times a day.
Facebook messaging, and then we have a nice little conversation here. I don't know. If somebody calls me, like I'm thinking like somebody just got shot or something. It's
It
an
makes my
emergency.
heart race.
No, but
I'm
really, like, 'cause
scared.
who calls unless it's something really super important? So then, of course, I'll let it go to voicemail.
And you never check it.
No, it's not true. I will answer if it's somebody I know.
But it's,
But if I get a number and it's like I don't know who this is, you're going to voicemail, and I'm probably never going to listen to it. If it's important, you can text me.
well, the answering machine fad is no longer like people just leave their voice message thing saying like, "Hey, it's me. Leave a message." Like that's it.
More
now.
like the voicemail box of 555
Right.
555 5555 is full because they don't check their voicemail.
So if you want to remember the past, go and listen to these answering machine messages.
Blast from the past.
So I want to plug again. Once again, we are part of the Filling the Void Network. We'll have all these different podcast episodes and different shows that are on it. One of which is Travis and Vic's Drunk Horror Adventures, where they discuss horror movies after they've gotten
sounds
drunk. They also talk about mass murderers after they're drunk. Sometimes
Who doesn't?
Exactly. I just don't record it when we do this.
It's going to come up at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
You know it is.
You're like, do you think Ed Gein really wore people's skin like all the time or just for special
It's
occasions?
for special occasions.
Keep it special.
Where'd they get the gas for that saw? That's
How
what
did
I
they
want to
take
know.
care of the smell? Formaldehyde?
So if you have questions like this, go watch that show. It's probably on there somewhere. They also interview people. They talk to people that have written books about the Zodiac Killer, as well as
That's
directors and actors from the Texas
Oh,
Chainsaw
biography
Massacre.
of Ted Cruz. The Zodiac Killer? Wasn't he the Zodiac Killer? No?
Oh, jeez.
Sorry,
I am
didn't mean to
not
get
touching
political.
that. Don't forget to buy tickets for the show. Bare Naked Ladies is touring this summer with Hootie and the Blowfish. Tickets are already on sale. I don't know why, but Hootie and the Blowfish are the headliners. The Bare Naked
What?
Ladies are also appearing with.
That's-
I know. Oh my
That's
God.
a sin.
Say what?
I know. It doesn't feel right. I'm like, no, they are not special guests. They are, no. You cannot do this to them.
That makes me upset. I feel upset about that. That makes me feel like I want Stephen Page to get back with the band, and
Stephen, we know you're
I
listening.
want them to headline.
Yep, they have to now.
Please come on
Like,
the show.
it has to happen now because they have to bring it back up. Like, it's a necessity. So, and they're going to be touring in the United States, Canada, and I believe they'll also be touring Europe. So the time is ticking down for you to go buy the tickets. Not for Europe yet. You could even say that it's the final countdown. And
Oh,
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
now I really need to watch Arrested Development again.
Do-do-do-do.
speaking of which,
Do-do-do-do.
A
Next week's
magician
song-
named Gob. Is the final countdown by Europe?
no, we're going to be talking about Counting Down off,
Oh.
I want to say it's off Silver Ball. I'll have to check for next week.
Isn't it Thunderball? Oh no, we're not
That's
talking
Thunderdome.
about. Not talking. Wow, we went from BNL
We
to
don't
James
need
Bond
another hero.
to Mad Max. 3 degrees
We
of
don't
BNL.
need to know the way
Sing it, Michelle.
home.
Mel Gibson is a
Tina
terrorist.
I was totally
There's
transforming myself
Nothing I can say. Yeah, there you go.
into Tina Turner.
There's nothing
Like
I can
with
say
the-
that's going to top Mel Gibson as a terrorist. So I don't think I can.
And we
What
now
will-
have the NSA listening to our podcast.
Terrorist gun bomb kill president. Hi NSA.
Hi, how are you?
We would love for you to be on our podcast. Come on.
NSA, we know you listen. Actually, of all the
wouldn't
people
know
we've
what you
mentioned,
have
I'm sure
on
the
us.
NSA is the one that definitely does listen to this show. They're probably responsible for all of our listeners.
That would be the
Please
greatest
pardon Edward
get
Snowden.
ever.
Edward, please come on the show.
This week's
Yes, that
this
would be.
week's guest is the NSA. The whole organization.
And that's probably what, you know what? That's what Bobby was about to say this last week. This episode is brought to you by the letters N, S, and A.
So we're about to be ending up going off the air. So as we count down, join us next week for Counting Down.
Bye-bye. See you next week. And listen to Conventioneers. It's a great song.
Bye, everyone. Yes, listen to Conventioneers. Let yourself be taken away by it. Go with the journey. It's amazing.
Hop in the bath and then feel the regret.
Now what can we say? Have a nice day.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.